so quickly. And I think where everyone started losing their minds was because, I mean, it was a fucking joke, and it was like a spicy joke. Oh, where is it?
Yeah, I essentially said, I was kind of railing against all of the objection towards the heartbeat bill that was passed in Texas. And I said, and knowing that everybody would just go, everyone's argument is that there are so many circumstances where people don't know it's 6 weeks. And so
Mhm.
my sort of flippant comment was, spare me that nobody knows it's 6 weeks. And then I was like, whores, only whores don't know it's 6 weeks, which obviously I know is which obviously is not like a medical position. It's just me being flamboyant. It's me being, it's me being a shithead and making a point. Being hyperbolic and extreme, which is what comedians sort of make their bones on exaggeration, right? You
Mhm.
you take a position or you take a view when it comes to a certain subject, and then you go to extreme lengths to sort of make your point. And so but I always think it's funny when people try to take something like that that's sort of incendiary and then assign it to you like that's your position or that's your point of view versus no, that's an extreme thing I said to make my point. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, people were like, he doesn't understand biology. It's this, that, and the other. And I've particularly found it funny because I found out that I was pregnant at 6 weeks. And
Hmm.
by default, my career, right? So it's like, bum. But obviously, I was out of mainstream and not with anybody else. So it's not that. But I was like, I don't know. Um, I get it, but it's a joke, right? So everyone was
Yeah,
tagging me
yeah,
in it, and they were like, "Did you see
exactly.
what he said?" Because we just did our episode, and I was like, "It's fine. He's a fucking comedian." And we just had our conversation of I like my comedy to be a little bit off the rails. Otherwise, what do you want to see, right? Just a boring dialogue at that point.
Yeah, and and then so it's interesting because when the people that and this became very evident very quickly, but the people that think differently from me, there is absolutely no restrictions put upon them for the language or the drastic exaggerations they're allowed to make in dragging me from my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so interesting to me that when you have a more conservative viewpoint, there's sort of this expectation that you do battle like a redcoat in the Revolutionary War, that I'm supposed to stand up in single formation and
Mm-hmm.
fire our rounds in a very gentlemanly way, and that we're supposed to play nice. And I have a difference of opinion. I think part of conservatives' problem is that they spend too much time trying to make um, educational sort of intellectual arguments when sometimes the people who think differently from you just need to be ridiculed the same way that you are ridiculed for what you believe. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's so interesting that people try to take something like that that's clearly like I'm being flippant
Right.
for a reason and say, oh, that's your actual opinion. Like, of course I'm aware there are circumstances where women don't know. When I was in high school, or right out of high school, one of my best friends that I worked with, wife, and it's kind of funny because like we all thought she was pregnant because she looked pregnant, but you never tell a woman that she's pregnant before she tells you she's pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't like heavy. She was like round, like she was thin, and then her belly was round and firm, like she was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few of us even asked him, we're like, Nick, is she pregnant? He's like, no, I don't think so. And then she had a baby.
Whoa.
Um, and she had her period all the way through.
Holy cow.
And, and so like, which we were a little skeptical about because she did come from a very religious family and they weren't married. They had only been dating for a little while. But anyway, so I have from the time I was 19, I'm fully aware that there are all these extenuating circumstances, but my moral position is that I think we have an overabundance of preventable abortion in this country, and I think we need to take like one of my favorite things is when people always harken back to that famous Bill Clinton speech where he said, he thinks that abortion in this country should be safe, legal, and rare. But I think the data shows that the only way for it to be safe and rare is probably for it to be illegal beyond a certain point. And so I think Texas took a look at it, and who's to say that 6 weeks is the definitively right number?
Mm-hmm.
I think the reality is, and what it comes down to is when you ask somebody what is the right number, most women who have a very pro-abortion stance will eventually get backed into a corner and say, whenever the fuck I say it is. Well, that's not a way. We can't really make laws that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
you can't really say, it would be sort of like, when is it okay to kill someone in self-defense? And you said, whenever I say it is. Well, the court
Mm.
doesn't work that way, and our laws don't work that way.